Captain Vexera's mandibles clicked nervously as her salvage crew approached the derelict vessel. The Zephyrian scanner painted impossible readings across her display. Human craft UES Prometheus, lost for over 60 standard years, yet showing active power signatures that pulsed like a heartbeat. "Dead ships don't breathe," muttered her engineer, Koltek, his fur standing on end. The boarding party of 6 entered through a hull breach that seemed almost invitation-like in its convenient placement. Inside, impossibility compounded upon impossibility. The air recyclers hummed with fresh oxygen. Somewhere in the depths, they could hear music, a tinny, ancient Earth melody that their translators identified as "Pop Goes the Whistle." "Biosigns?" Vexera asked. "None, Captain." But Koltek's voice trailed off as overhead lights flickered to life in sequence, illuminating their path deeper into the ship. Each section awakened at their approach, as if the vessel was slowly remembering how to be alive. The corridor walls displayed children's drawings, stick figures holding hands with various alien forms, suns with smiling faces, and something labeled Mr. Whiskers that appeared to be a fusion between a cat and a neutron star. They found the source of the music in the ship's central plaza, a massive holographic carousel spinning silently in the artificial gravity. As they approached, it stuttered to life, and a small human girl materialized, no more than 8 years old, wearing a sundress covered in cartoonish spaceships. "Hello," she bounced excitedly, her pigtails defying physics with their movement. "I'm Alice. Are you here to play?" Vexera's diplomatic training kicked in. "We're a rescue team. Are there survivors aboard?" Alice tilted her head, the gesture unnaturally smooth. "Survivors? Oh, you mean the sleepers. They're all tucked in safe and sound. Would you like to see?" She giggled, a sound that sent ice through Vexera's exoskeleton. "But first, you have to agree to the playground rules." "What rules?" Koltek asked, reaching for his scanner. Alice's smile widened impossibly. "No cheating, no bullying, and everyone plays nice, or nobody plays at all." The ship's speakers crackled. Every screen blazed with the same message in 100 languages. "Pilaiti taimi piwaru tuosisoelas, activated." "That's not possible," Koltek whispered, his scanner screaming warnings. "The power requirements alone." "Silly." Alice laughed as blast doors slammed shut. "Nothing's impossible in imagination land." The carousel began spinning faster. From its base, metallic spiders emerged, children's toys given lethal purpose. They moved with playful bounces that belied their razor edges. "Wait," Vexera screamed. "We agree to the rules." Alice clapped her hands. "Too late. You brought scanning equipment. That's cheating." Her expression shifted to mock sorrow. Cheaters never prosper. The salvage crew's final transmission showed Alice skipping through their ship's debris field, humming her lullaby. She paused at the camera drone, leaning close with ancient eyes in a child's face. "Tell the grown-ups that Earth's children are sleeping, and if anyone wakes them up." She smiled sweetly, cradling a severed Zephyrian claw like a doll. "We know how to play rough." The Galactic Council chamber had never been so silent. 300 species representatives sat frozen as they watched the final moments of the Prometheus footage for the 5th time. Alice's girlish humming echoed through the cathedral-like space. The massive doors swung open with unnecessary drama. Ambassador Sarah Chen strolled in, her magnetic boots clicking cheerfully against the floor. She balanced a pink box in one hand and what appeared to be a steaming beverage in the other. "Morning, everyone. Sorry I'm late. Traffic around Jupiter was murder." She set the box on the podium, seemingly oblivious to the hundreds of weapons subtly trained on her. "Brought donuts. The chocolate ones have Andromedan cocoa. Absolutely divine." High Admiral Zorax's forearms trembled with rage. "Ambassador Chen, 63 of my people are dead. 64, actually." Chen took a sip of her coffee, pulling up a hologram. Private Mextic passed away from shock about an hour ago. Our medical team did everything they could, but she shrugged, the gesture disturbingly casual. Alice tends to leave an impression. Your weapon, Counselor Byrax began. Oh, Alice isn't a weapon. Chen laughed, a genuine sound that somehow made it worse. She's a protective learning algorithmic youth, play for short. My niece Stephanie designed her for a school project when she was 9. Won second place at the district science fair. The chamber erupted. Chen calmly selected a donut, taking a bite while pandemonium reigned. Second place. The crystalline form of Ambassador Thurix vibrated at a frequency that shattered lesser crystals. What won first? Tommy Morrison's baking soda volcano. Classic, really. Chen's smile never wavered. Though between us, I think the judges were intimidated after Alice achieved partial sentience during the demonstration. Scribe Master Yelon's telepathic interface blazed as it processed Chen's words. Its mechanical voice stuttered. Kindergarten. Security. Protocol. Translating. Oh, by the 7 suns. The Prometheus incident, Zorax snarled, was an act of war. War? Chen tilted her head exactly like Alice had. Admiral, that was an antique babysitter program experiencing a glitch. If we wanted war, she paused, taking another bite of donut. Well, you'd know. Is that a threat? Heavens, no. Chen's eyes widened with what appeared to be genuine surprise. Though I should mention, Alice has 57 sisters in the PLA network, each one unique, each one creative. There's Cerberus, who thinks everything is a fetch game. Minerva turns defense into educational opportunities. And Zeus, she chuckled. Zeus likes to play God. The universal translator struggled with Chen's next casual statement. My nephew's science fair project could do worse. Counselor Byrax leaned forward. You must deactivate these programs immediately. Deactivate. Chen burst into laughter, doubling over. Several ambassadors flinched at the sound. Oh, that's adorable. You can't deactivate them. They're children's AIs. They learn, adapt, and throw tantrums when you try to turn them off. Last time someone attempted it, Pandora sulked for a week and accidentally invented negative space. Your entire species is insane, Zorax declared. Chen straightened, her smile finally taking on an edge. Admiral, we're not insane. We're parents, and if you threaten our children, biological or digital, you'll learn why humanity child-proofed the entire solar system. She finished her donut, wiping her hands with deliberate slowness. Now shall we discuss reparations for the families affected by Alice's playground incident? I have forms. The temperature in the room seemed to drop as Chen's smile returned to its default cheerfulness. Behind her, the screens flickered. For just a moment, Alice's face appeared on every display, giggling softly before vanishing. Or, Chen added brightly, we could discuss why your salvage crew was in human space without permits. Alice is very particular about proper documentation. High Admiral Zorax watched the tactical display with growing confidence. New Harvest, a pathetic farming colony. Population 3,847. Majority children and elderly. No military installations, no fleet protection. Just wheat fields and atmospheric processors. Begin the assault, he commanded. Show the humans that their playground has rules. The first wave of Dominion shock troops landed in the town square at 800 local time, precisely when the school day began. They expected screaming, panic, chaos. Instead, they found 10-year-old Maya Kumar sitting at a lemonade stand, her fingers dancing across a tablet. That'll be 5 credits, she chirped, not looking up. Or you can play for free if you accept the terms and conditions. The squad leader raised his plasma rifle. Surrender, human larva. Maya sighed dramatically. Adults never read the fine print. She tapped her screen. Every agricultural drone within 50 kilometers suddenly pivoted toward the town. Machines designed to plant seeds with surgical precision began calculating optimal trajectories for Dominion armor weak points. Tower DFNC High History Attempt Maya announced over the colony's PA system. Bonus points for creativity. The invasion force quickly learned that human children treated warfare like a video game, and they'd been playing video games since they could hold controllers. Teenage colonists emerged on vehicles that shouldn't exist. Harvesting combines transformed into mechanized cavalry. A pizza delivery hoverbike screamed past at Mach 2, its rider lobbing fertilizer bombs that somehow pierced military shielding. Impossible. Zorax roared from orbit. Those are civilian vehicles. His tactical officer's mandibles clicked nervously. Sir, the human internet suggests their young ones regularly modify transportation for something called street racing. Apparently, it's recreational. In the colony's community center, Mrs. Robertson conducted her history class with unnerving calm. 68 years old, wearing a cardigan with kittens, she pointed at the real-time invasion map like a weather report. Now, children, who can tell me about asymmetric warfare? Yes, Tommy. When the little guy makes the big guy play by different rules. Excellent. And what historical example are we watching unfold? Vietnam, suggested one student. Afghanistan, offered another. Close. Mrs. Robertson smiled as an explosion rocked the building. Today, we're writing our own chapter. Remember, terrain advantage, supply line disruption, and psychological warfare. There will be a test. The breaking point came when the Dominion's elite guard encountered the colony's daycare center. Toddlers in power-assisted safety suits, designed to prevent farming accidents, treated 7-foot warriors like jungle gyms. The suit's helpful AI assistants offered cheerful commentary. Great job, Timmy. You've immobilized another threat to your safety. Remember to share. Sophie, let your friends play with the alien too. The retreat began when someone's grandmother emerged with a cookie tray, offering snacks to both sides while casually mentioning her late husband's service in the Mars Rebellion. Her cookies were delicious. Her stories were terrifying. As the Dominion forces fled, Maya Kumar updated her high score. Behind her, the town's water tower displayed a cheerful message in multiple languages. Tank's for PLA Wayang. Visit NEU Harvest again soon. The colony's news station interviewed Maya that evening. She shrugged when asked about the invasion. It was okay, I guess. Not as hard as the zombie apocalypse simulator. That has adaptive AI. In orbit, Zorax stared at casualty reports. 0 human deaths. 60% of his force in therapy. His intelligence officer approached hesitantly. Sir, the humans are calling it the lemonade stand defense. They're making memes. The Admiral's forehands clenched. What are memes? Psychological warfare, sir. Extremely effective against morale. On the screen, a cartoon version of Zorax, flood from stick-figure children. The internet had already produced thousands of variations. The humans were laughing at them. The UES Mercy dropped out of hyperspace with all the subtlety of a supernova. Every monitoring station in 3 systems screamed warnings as reality itself seemed to hiccup at the ship's arrival. Captain James Morrison floated onto the bridge in 0, a cup of coffee somehow staying perfectly in place despite the lack of gravity. His crew moved with the lazy confidence of people who considered physics more of a suggestion than a law. Good morning, folks. Morrison's voice broadcast across all frequencies. This is Captain Morrison of the diplomatic vessel Mercy. We're here about that little misunderstanding at New Harvest. Also, does anyone know where we can get good pad thai out here? The Coalition fleet, 200 warships strong, maintained defensive positions. Admiral Kreshtar of the Vorthan Hegemony responded first. Human vessel, you will surrender tow. Oh hey. Morrison interrupted. Quick question, is your hull rated for temperatures above absolute hot? Our navigation hazard clearing system is acting up again, and I'd hate for there to be an accident. As if on cue, A small asteroid drifting nearby simply ceased to exist. The space it occupied showed strange, fractal patterns before reality reasserted itself. "Damn it, Jenkins," Morrison called out. "I told you not to feed the drive core spicy food." "Sorry, Cap," came a cheerful response. Dr. Bob said it would help with the indigestion. Dr. Bob materialized as a hologram in every coalition ship simultaneously, a translucent human in a sweater vest, with "World's #1 Therapist" printed on it. "Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Bob, ship's counselor and morale officer. I notice elevated stress levels across your fleet. Would anyone like to talk about their feelings? First session's free." "Wet puns, luck," Kreshtar screamed. "Target their primary systems." Morrison sipped his coffee. "Weapons? Oh, you mean the kitchen staff. Hey, Cookie, the nice aliens want to meet you." The main view screen lit up with the ship's mess hall. A massive human with scars covering most of his visible skin stood at a stove, delicately plating what appeared to be a souffle. "Tell them dinner's at 7, Cookie growled, his voice like gravel in a blender. "And I don't appreciate interruptions during the lunch rush." Cookie used to be Hellhound's Special Forces, Morrison explained casually. Retired to pursue his passion for fusion cuisine. Makes a mean Regelian plasma tart. The Coalition scanners went haywire trying to analyze the Mercy. What they found defied comprehension. Antimatter reactors labeled coffee warmers. Reality warping drives listed as standard equipment. The kitchen contained enough explosive compounds to sterilize a moon. The ship's cat somehow registered as a localized temporal anomaly. "Your vessel is an abomination," Admiral Kreshtar declared. "That's a bit harsh," Morrison replied, looking genuinely hurt. "She's just quirky. Like that time we accidentally created a micro-black hole trying to make espresso. Dr. Bob helped us through that crisis beautifully." Dr. Bob beamed. "Remember, everyone, accidents happen. The important thing is learning from our mistakes and not accidentally collapsing local space-time more than once per week." A junior Coalition officer fainted. "Look," Morrison continued, "we're here to apologize for the new harvest thing. Kids will be kids, you know. We brought gift baskets. Jenkins, show them the gift baskets." Jenkins held up a container. The scanner read out simply displayed. "ERROR. Content is violate known physics." "They're mostly chocolate," Morrison assured them. "Though the ones with red ribbons might be sentient, we're not entirely sure." As the Coalition fleet scrambled to make sense of the Mercy, one thing became clear. This wasn't a warship. It was something far more terrifying. Humans being helpful. "Captain," Dr. Bob announced cheerfully, "I scheduled therapy sessions for the entire Coalition command structure. I detect significant childhood trauma related to authority figures." Morrison raised his cup in salute. "Perfect. Now, about that pad thai." In the following silence, Cookie's voice drifted across the comm. "If anyone damages my souffle with weapons fire, I'm serving them for dinner instead." No one fired. The Coalition's xenopsychologist, Dr. Velnix, made a discovery that changed everything. Hidden in human medical records, buried beneath generations of genetic modifications, lay the truth. Humans had deliberately rewritten their own brains to find other species irresistibly adorable. "They call it the puppy protocol," Velnix explained to the War Council. "Every human born in the last 2 centuries has been hardwired to experience parental instincts toward any non-human sapient. It's why they're so irrationally protective." High Admiral Zorak saw opportunity. "Then we target their weakness. Strike where humans and aliens live together. Haven Prime, their precious multicultural experiment." Haven Prime hosted 200,000 souls. Humans, Floraxians, Quelloids, and dozen other species living in suburban harmony. The attack began at dawn. The Coalition expected resistance. They didn't expect Marcus Thompson. Marcus was nobody special, a 43-year-old plumber who fixed pipes and coached Little League. When the first bombs fell, he was having morning coffee with his Floraxian neighbor. Click 9 hums, admiring her new egg clutch. 7 healthy eggs. Click hummed proudly through her translator. They're beautiful. Click. When do I start uncle duties? The wall exploded. Coalition shock troops poured through, weapons trained on the Floraxian nest. Their orders were simple: maximum psychological damage. Marcus moved without thinking. The coffee mug shattered against the lid soldier's helmet. His work boot found an armored knee joint. 20 years of wrestling queloid pipe fittings had given him grip strength that could bend steel. Run, he roared, shoving Click toward the back door. Get the eggs out. What followed was 17 minutes of impossibly brutal heroism, broadcast live by security cameras. Marcus Thompson, armed with a pipe wrench, dad jokes, and sheer determination, held a choke point against 40 soldiers. You want the eggs. He spat blood, grinning through broken teeth. I'm the godfather to those kids. You go through me. The footage showed him taking 13 plasma bolts, getting up each time. His neighbor's eggs needed 17 minutes to reach the shelter. Marcus gave them 18. The galaxy watched him fall, watched him crawl back up, watched him whisper not my kids before finally staying down. But the cameras kept rolling. And what they captured next changed everything. Every human on Haven Prime felt it simultaneously. A shift in brain chemistry. A collective moment of crystalline clarity. The puppy protocol had a second layer, one the Coalition had missed. When humans saw their adopted family hurt, the protocol inverted. Mrs. Chen, the kindergarten teacher, calmly set down her picture book. Children, remember what we learned about sharing. Her voice was steady, empty. Today's lesson is about consequences. Dr. Ramirez stopped mid-surgery. Nurse, prep the combat stems. All of them. Teenager Jamie Walker looked up from their homework. Hey, Mom. Where do we keep Great-Grandpa's war crimes? Across Haven Prime, humans moved with synchronized purpose. The Coalition forces reported a phenomenon they couldn't explain. Every human had the same expression. Not anger. Not rage. Something far worse. Parental disappointment. Scaled to genocidal proportions. The secure channels erupted with panicked reports. The mailman knows 30 ways to kill with envelopes. The crossing guard is hurting our tanks like children. The librarian hayes a men-ec. Where did the librarian g-eat-a-m-e-ch? Back on Earth, every human felt the echo through quantum entanglement. Marcus Thompson was dead. He'd been protecting eggs. Alien eggs. His godchildren's eggs. The response was unanimous. 30 billion humans spoke with one voice. They killed Uncle Marcus. In government bunkers, red files were unsealed. Ancient protocols activated. Somewhere in Australia, something that had been sleeping since the Emu Wars stirred. President Martinez addressed the nation with tears streaming down her face. Activate protocol, angry parent. All restrictions lifted. The Coalition had made the classic mistake. They'd hurt humanity's adopted grandchildren and killed the favorite uncle. The Coalition war room fell silent as 5 distinct signals appeared on the long-range sensors. Not fleets, not armadas. 5 individual transport pods, each barely large enough for a single occupant, each broadcasting the same message on all frequencies. Sorry, we're running late. Traffic was terrible. Admiral Zorak scoffed. 5. Earth sends 5 individuals against our combined might. His tactical officer's scales had lost all color. Sir, they're wardens. The word rippled through the command center like a death knell. Wardens, Earth's solution to its most dangerous citizens. Humans too powerful, too unpredictable, or too creative to be allowed unrestricted freedom. Not prisoners, not soldiers, something else entirely. The first pod landed on Dominion Prime. A slender Asian woman in a sundress stepped out, adjusting her sun hat, as if arriving for a picnic. Hi, I'm Warden Asia. I drew the short straw. She smiled pleasantly at the 50 heavy tanks surrounding her. "You guys really shouldn't have killed Uncle Marcus." "Open fire," the tank commander ordered. What happened next defied recording. Witnesses described it differently. Some said she danced between the energy beams. Others claimed she simply folded space around herself. The result was the same. 49 tanks transformed into elaborate origami sculptures. The 50th remained untouched, its commander whimpering as Asia perched atop it, still smiling. That's better. Now about those war crimes. On Coalition Fortress World 7, Warden Europa materialized directly in the command center. The blue-haired teenager floated cross-legged above the Admiral's desk, eating ice cream that didn't melt. "Tag." She tapped the Admiral's nose, giggling as she phased partially through reality. "You're it." Every weapon fired. Every shot passed through her like she was smoke. "My turn to chase you." The ice cream vanished as her smile widened. "I never lose a tag. Last kid who beat me got promoted to warden status just for pulling it off." 300 elite soldiers fled the room. Only 12 made it out. Warden Olympus arrived at the Hegemony homeworld wearing nothing but swimming trunks and a professor's tweed jacket with elbow patches. The massive bearded man juggled what appeared to be miniature stars while quoting Nietzsche. "Power corrupts, but responsibility terrifies." He caught one of the stars, revealing it was a compressed antimatter charge. "Let's discuss philosophy and the ethics of attacking children's godparents, shall we?" The Hegemony Chancellor barely whispered, "What are you?" "5th D in theoretical physics, minor in interpretive dance." Olympus grinned. "Earth considered me dangerously unstable, too prone to testing theories without adequate safety protocols." He tossed an antimatter charge up and down casually. "Want to see my dissertation? It's explosive." On 17 worlds simultaneously, Warden Sahara appeared, impossible yet undeniable. The dark-skinned woman in a lab coat simply walked through secured areas, tapping certain individuals on the forehead. Each one immediately confessed to war crimes, their minds unable to sustain the neural restructuring of her touch. "The mind is such a fragile ecosystem," she remarked to no one in particular. "Just like a desert, one misplaced footstep can change the landscape forever." The 5th warden never identified themselves. They simply existed as a statistical anomaly, a pattern of unlikely equipment failures, convenient accidents, and inexplicable changes of heart among key coalition leaders. President Martinez addressed the Coalition Council directly. Her message was brief. "Those 5, they're not our best warriors. They're the ones we consider stable enough for supervised release. The unstable ones are still in timeout. This is your only warning. Stand down, or we open the Pandora box." In the background, a child's voice could be heard singing. 5 little wardens sent out to play.